Hi everyone, welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. We have a very interesting topic, which I think all of us have been. I know a lot of you have been asking us to do like a Goyard, Faure Le Page. So that's what we're gonna do today. I have with me my gorgeous co-host, fashionably Amy. Make sure you're also on her channel and subscribe. So we have slides, and today's session is going to be fairly intense.
Combined.
we have
Two different brands combined. And a lot of
Yeah,
like
two different brands
about the
combined. We
brands
got
too.
history, we've got
hmm
pics. So a lot of slides. So we hope we will finish it within the first hour, then we can chit chat. But otherwise, go ahead, chit chat, comment in the comment section. And then, yeah, let's get into it because we have a lot of slides.
Yeah. And also, while you guys are at it, do you own any of these two brands? And if you do, which one do you prefer? Why? I don't own any of the two, but I also don't have any of these two stores in my country. So it was interesting to do the research, and hopefully one day I'll get to see the actual products in my hands, like try it on.
Yeah, in Singapore, we have both Goya and Faure Le
Mm.
Page. And I was being quite I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store and grab pictures. I was telling Amy about it, but I have been so busy the past week. I haven't had a single moment to myself to go. So unfortunately we don't. But if you enjoy this and you think let's do it again, I can definitely go to the store and just ransack the place and taking all
Check
kinds
them
of
out,
photos.
yeah.
And we could do like another session because there are so like there was so many things, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Let me start with a few administrative things. So today is the Goya and Faure Le Page versus each other because they're so similar. Tomorrow we have a members live, so please do join us on Amy's channel. Slightly different from what we originally planned. The members do know, but it's gonna be fun. We got quite a few things to share.
Some eye
So
candy. Yeah, we
some
both have
eye
some eye
candy.
candy to share.
Yes, absolutely.
New
And
stuff, very exciting.
if you're curious, you can join us. So we have a channel that we have built, a community that we have built for the past year, and we've got the Luxee Committee, the Luxee Crew. So you can join us and support the channel and join us for all of these extra sessions because they are really fun, actually. Yeah, so casual, so much chit chat.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course, if you're new to the Luxury Live Show, do put a bunch of question marks at the front of your comment because we have a live Q&A session that will answer your question. So it helps us see your comment or your question, and we'll pull it to the front of the screen. Okay, let's get into it. First one, Amy, Goyard.
Awesome. Okay, so Goya. So I did the research on Goya, and I'll try to be as succinct but also still make sense. There's a lot going on with Goya. So just as a gist, so this is the kind of the summary page. As a gist, Goya is officially was officially a French trunk maker company. They were officially established in 1853, but you will see afterwards that their history dates back to further before, like way before. So we'll go through that. That is actually 1 year older, officially 1 year older than Louis Vuitton, which was established in 1854. So François Goyard is the first is the person that founded Goyard, this company, and he specialized in box making, packing, trunk making, um, basically trunk maker. He's a trunk maker, and that was possible after he had purchased Maison Morel, which before that was Maison Martin, which, like I said earlier, I'll go through that information a little bit more afterwards. Maison Martin dated back to 1792, so it's a long history of things. The only reason why Goya is officially established in 1853 is because when he took over, he changed the name of the company to his own family name. And then after that, it was Edmond Goya, which is the son of Francois Goya, who took over. And he was instrumental in really expanding the business, the whole Goya company, from 1885 to 1937. And we'll go through a lot of the things that he did to do that. After him, there was Robert Goyard, and he is the son of Edmond Goyard. So after that, he basically took over, and he was in charge of the company during the post-war years. After him, so his own son, another François Goyard, but I think his François is his second name. It's his real name. I think his whole name is Jean-François Goyard. I think Jean-François something, or Jean-Edmond François, or Jean-François Edmond. I can't remember. There was three. I think there was three. He had two middle names. But anyway, he goes by François Goyard as well. And he took over and continued the legacy of the company. And he also did that in collaboration with his own daughter. So we're kind of getting very close to the current times. So the last bit of history is when someone called Jean-Michel Signol bought the company off of the Goyard family and turned it into an international renowned brand from its privately owned company. So this is the gist, like the basic, the first page of all the history going on. So if we move to the next page, we can go from the beginning. So like I said, Goyard is a trunk making company, and it's dated back since 1792. It started with Maison Martin, so the Martin family. They had three traditional crafts: box making, trunk making, packing. Basically the same business. And the founder himself, Pierre-François Martin, he at the time was a guardian of this young female, and he gave his business to her as a dowry when he arranged a marriage between her and one of his employees, whose name is Louis-Henri Morel. And at the time, he was only 23. So I guess after that, Morel took over, which is why at one point it's called Maison Morel, right? After that, Morel himself, Louis-Henri Morel, passed on his skills to an apprentice who was 17 years old at the time. And that is François Goyard, the very first Goyard person that started learning the ropes of trunk making. He was hired in 1845. So when Monsieur Morel died suddenly, I guess François Goyard took over the company and basically changed the name of the company to Goyard officially after that. It is also known at the time that Maison Morel was the official supplier of trunk box making, trunk making to the Royal Highness of the Duchess of Berry at the time. So a long, very sort of long-winded history dating back from even before the Goyard time. If we move to the next slide, so this is going through all the Goyard family, the many layers of family that took over the company. So, like I said, after François himself took over, he changed the name from Morel to Goyard, and he was the head of the business for over 32 years. After that, he handed off to his first son, Edmond, in 1885. And that is when they changed the name to, I guess, the initial Goyard Aîné. Aîné means elder because he was the eldest son. He himself, Edmond himself, was very instrumental in really growing the company. One of the things that he really did that put them on the map, or I guess really expanded their business, made it known to at least at the time, to the French people, is that they were very, very good at trunk making. So he participated in many, many world expositions at the time. He also was the first to do advertisements for Goyard, because Goyard is a company that is known for not really participating in advertising. They don't market. They don't do any of those things. A little bit like how Hermes used to be. Like they don't really have to like do advertisements or market. They kind of just, people just know about it and they trust the business because of their craftsmanship. Kind of a little bit like that. But he was the very first person in the family to really go out and advertise about their products and their company. He was also the person that came out with what we know now as the Goyard canvas, which they call Goyardine. And he also launched a pet accessory range, which apparently in current times, in modern times, there's actually a pet accessory store right across the street from their current headquarters. So that's really interesting. So he did a lot of things to expand his company, the family company. When he handed off to Robert Goyard, they together ran the business, I think until his death, I believe. And so when Robert took over, I think during his time, he still did many things to sort of advance the company. He constantly tried to update the range of product, including handbags. And also, he also patented the design of their woven canvas. So if we were to, I'll explain the pattern later, how and why they did it that way, like what's the meaning behind it. After him, there was Jean-Edmond, let me see. Yes, that's what I said. There is another François, so his name is Jean-Edmond François. So
Have we lost yet?
The son of Robert Goyard is Jean-Edmond François, and they worked together when he was around. However, when he took over, while he was working with his father for the business of Goyard, there was the World War II, and at the time, there was the Nazi Germany occupation in France, administration in France. So it kind of really took its toll on the business, and the store had to even close down temporarily. But anyway, when they were able to reopen, Robert, I guess he resumed the business with his son, and then after when he died, then Jean-Edmond François himself and his daughter Isabelle Goyard took over and continued. And so I just wanted to draw your attention on this little picture here on the right. So this store is it's already there since 1834. That was when, remember I said that the business dated back to Maison Morel and Maison Martin. So it was when it was around the Maison Martin era, he had already moved the store to this location, which is still the current location, the same headquarters at 233 Rue Saint-Honoré. It had changed address a couple times only because of how France in Paris back then, they had to like change the addresses, but it's still the same location. So that's a little fun fact. In 1998, like I said, that's the very last of the history. Someone who purchased Goyard, his name is Jean-Michel Signol. He was apparently a very keen collector of Goyard himself. And he basically took over the business and tried to expand it even further. I think he was instrumental in opening many, many stores. He also kind of celebrated his, he and his family celebrated their acquisition of the company by reintroducing the canvases in many colors. And we'll see a lot of that info in the next page. Okay, before we even get to that, I just wanted to point out all the world exposition that Edmond Goyard, remember Edmond is the son of the first François. He was very, very instrumental at the time for expanding the business, because not only was he the first to do advertising for the company, he also participated in a lot of contests at the time, the world expositions. And on top of that, he came up with the canvas as we know it today. But these are all the expositions that he participated in from the 1900 to 1925. And it is also a fun fact to note that just like Louis Vuitton himself, they were a bit too young or a bit too fresh at the time to participate in the very first expedition in 1885 because they just kind of came into the business. So they only started participating in 1900. So that was very, very interesting to know. And yeah, as you can see, they won many medals. In 1900, they won the bronze medal. That was the first year they participated. In 1906, the gold medal. In 1908, another gold medal. In Brussels in 1910, they were awarded an honorary degree, and they were the most visited exhibition, apparently. In 1911, they were talked and spoken super highly by one of the examiners. And the list goes on. Basically, they were always featured somehow. They were always talked about. They were always very praised by, at the time, the World Expositions. And it is also funny to note that apparently at the time there weren't too many French trunk makers or even French. I don't know. They have different classes apparently, but there weren't that many participants. There were mainly Louis Vuitton, Goyard, and then a couple other ones. So they always kind of won the first prize, I guess, by default in a sense that way. But they were also really the best ones at the time. So if we just continue the list, yeah. So as you can see, they kept going to more, and Mo himself, he took the company to many, many world expositions, and they won more and more grand prizes. In 1915, that was during the World War I, it was impossible to hold any event in Europe, so he went to the exposition in the US for the very first time. And it was very successful because they were like the Goyard exhibition. The Goyard exhibit was being visited by many, many people. 18.9 million visitors. That's kind of crazy if you ask me. And yeah, after that, Goyard, as the participant, they didn't really have to compete anymore. They were really established. So as you can see in 1919, they kind of were there only as a non-competitive exhibition. They weren't really competing at that point. They were already so established, and I think they were very well known at the time already. If we move on to the next slide, yes, we're going to talk a little bit about their canvas, which they call the Goyardine. So this canvas has already been a cloth canvas since the 1900s, and apparently the pattern has been unchanged since then. And in 2002, exactly 110 years after, the Signol family, they inaugurated their tenure by introducing more colors. Like I said earlier, they kind of celebrated their acquisition of the company by creating even more colors. So I think there's like yellow, green, red, blue, dark blue. I don't know. There's probably way more. I can only count 5 right now, but the original was a black.
Nice.
Okay, so if we just kind of take a look at the canvas as we say it in modern words, this canvas is actually made of 3 natural fibers: hemp, linen, and cotton. So hemp is sought after for its water repellent properties, linen for its softness, and it's a thermoregulator. And also, it was believed that it says initial meters. I'm guessing the first few meters of this canvas was hand painted. And then after that, when they started manufacturing it, then I guess it's no longer hand painted. They had to like basically find a way to produce it in masses. And what makes this canvas really special is that if you look at the picture where that light shines on it, like in the middle, kind of on top in the middle, you can see that the linen, or I guess the fabric texture kind of raises through that that layer on top. but then yet you have that painting, like that, those dots on top. So it's something that is apparently very, very hard, at least at the time, to counterfeit. And also that became their trademark. The chevron pattern is very interesting. So with the chevron pattern, I don't know if you can see, it's basically a letter Y. So there's 3 chevron pattern, and think of it as like this V thing. So there's the V on top, there's the V on the side, and then there's another V on the other side, which makes it into a Y. If we go to the, I think I explained it in, is it here? Yes, I explained it in here. Yes. So there's 3 chevron juxtaposed to form a letter Y, which is the middle letter of the name Goyard. I don't know why they chose Y, but I guess it's nice to look at. And also, remember Edmond Goyard is the one who created this canvas. So just like a painter would sign their painting, he also was one of the first people to kind of put his brand, his name on their product. And by doing so, he did, for the first chevron on top in white, he did the initial E and Goyard as his name. And then he put the address in 2 different shades of brown on the other 2 chevrons. But you'll see that the name Paris is actually repeated twice. And you'll see kind of like in the same angle as his name, there's 233 Rue Saint-Honoré. So that's the main store address that they still have right now. That's the address, and that's kind of his branding, his signature on the canvas. Yeah, he was the very first trunk maker to put his name on the canvas, and that was done even way before, like before year 1900. And well, a little fun fact, which I didn't go into too much, but as I was reading about the history, the Goyard family actually has a lot of their ancestry. A lot of their ancestors, they were log drivers. Don't ask me what that is. I don't really know what log drivers do, but they call them compagnons de rivière, which I'm guessing those little dots kind of reminds you of the logs in the river. That's how I understood it. If you know more about this, let us know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the gist, very short, sweet, succinct history of Goyard without being too confusing, I hope. And I picked, me and Kat, we picked some of our favorites just by looking at what's available on the website. Like I said, I've never really seen a Goyard bag. We don't have this company here, but just based on the pictures and what's available online, I picked this mini bag called the Vendôme mini bag, and it reminds me very much of the Alma. I believe there's many different sizes. The reason why I picked this is just, I don't know, just look at the details. Even the bottom where the leather is wrapping around the corners. It's just so nicely made. I think this canvas is gorgeous. It's a monogram canvas. In my opinion, that's just their monogram. And I like the color combo. And plus, on top of that, they have so many different colors, right? At least 12 colors as we know it. And so if black and brown is not your taste, you can go with any of their combos, really. So I thought this bag was really, really nice, and I really was attracted to it. And also, even though this is not really a trunk, I know they have trunk making as their main business and history back then. But nowadays, nobody really uses trunks, so a handbag it is.
It's actually really nice. This one as an alternative to the Alma is different, yet kind of has the similar look and feel, but it's a bit more special because, well, firstly, that history was no joke.
Exactly. That's a lot. It's for many generations of families that went through and took over. And even before that, it was actually two other families, right?
That is
Two other
incredible. I mean,
trunk making.
when we do Faure Le Page later, the history is not as intense. I mean, there
Mm,
are, but obviously I cut out a lot. But this is like one after. It's like it's passed down so fast, so
exactly,
many
yeah.
times. Like a couple of years, you go take there. It's like it's incredible. So this bag is historical. This brand.
Yeah, and the canvas. I guess I chose this color because I believe this is the black color one. Because black is their original. And I just really like the combo. I mean, you can say that it reminds you of a Celine bag also. I mean, in the end, they all kind of look the same now. Now they all look the same. But knowing the history and also just uh seeing this shape of bag, I just think that, oh, it's so special now that I know more about the brand. And I think that applies to not just Goyard, but many brands that I love. A lot of it has to do with what the original creators did to make it the brand that we know today. And also, one thing though, I think it says here, I believe. Yeah, one thing that I'm kind of like, I wish they just included that is that you have to buy a strap if you want it to have an additional strap. So it doesn't come with a strap,
Mm.
which I think LV nowadays is really good at giving you straps. In the end, you may not like the strap, but at least they include it. Of course, they charge you for it anyway. But anyway, that's one thing that I noticed that they don't do at Goya. They're more simple. And if you want to add any additional accessories, you just kind of have to get it.
Nice. I actually like this bag. I think I was gonna ask you, did you find in the history that green was also one of their official colors? Because
Yes,
I
now it is.
now it is. I
Yes.
see, I see.
I think
But this
it's
is the
ever
original
since.
color. So this was the first one they started, but now they changed it to green.
Now there's 12 colors. So ever since the Signol family took over in 1998, they've introduced 12 colors, I believe. That
Oh,
was what I remember. Yeah. So the 12
right.
colors included green as well. I picked something green.
Yes. Okay. This one I like. I actually really like this. Like this, if I feel like I need an almond green, actually Goya has the bag that I really like. It's neat. It's nice.
Mhm.
Okay,
I
that's
also
good to know.
like this because I mean, I know the Saint Louis tote from Goya is very, very popular, but I've also heard a lot of people's reviews where they get wear and tear very quickly. So I actually didn't choose a tote, but knowing that this canvas being a bit more sort of softer, more fragile in a sense, but because this bag is structured and all the corners are already they're protected. So I'm not worried about that on this bag.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I actually like the details on this.
Yeah.
It's this little like is that wood? Let me see. Does it say
It
wood?
looks
Let me
like
see.
wood, yeah.
It's
And
nice.
also,
It's not.
something I didn't mention earlier is that the original canvas for their trunks, I think it should be a bit more robust because can't remember which Goya person it was. It could have been I can't remember if it's Robert or Francois, the Francois after that when they took over, they kind of revamped the canvas a bit more to create more products. That's when they softened the canvas to be able to make bags. I think that is closer to the modern canvas, which leads
Mm.
me to believe that the original canvas is actually thicker and a bit more hardy because it used to be used for trunk making, right? For boxes, packing material, like packing accessories. And so I believe it became a bit softer after handbags were introduced into the line.
Makes sense. I mean, they were
Mhm.
only 1 year before LV, and it
Yeah.
was the rage, right, to make the tougher canvas to for trunks. That was the way they traveled. So it makes sense to be thicker.
Yeah.
I love this. Now that I know the history, just like when we did Mona, I'm like, ooh, maybe I should get myself a Boya bag. Okay, I picked this, and I found this celebrity who is, I believe, I couldn't find his name, but I think he's Anwar Hadid, one of the Hadid kids. So he's a celebrity that's carrying this beautiful, it's like a crossbody bag, girl. It's unisex because it's one of those shapes that is very casual. You could use, going out, easy for traveling. What attracted me is the green. I picked the green because it's just so rich and vibrant. But like Amy said, they have 12 colors. So more than the color of the rainbow, so many beautiful shades that you could pick for. So Anwar's wearing like blue, but the green is nice. And I like the fact that the interior has a different color. So it gives it already like a pop on the inside. It has a back pocket. And the only thing is it doesn't have a detachable strap. So I wonder if you would use it without the strap. Like if I had, could take it out and wear it as a clutch. Maybe some people will, but I think as a crossbody bag, this Belvedere is really good. Like an alternative to say the Pochette Matisse or any other like duffel bags. Yeah, from other brands. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I think this bag is just one of those easygoing errand kind of looking bag, but then you kind of make it more special by choosing your favorite color. We can see the colors on the bottom actually. We can
Yep.
see 11 here. So the gray, the white, and then there's burgundy, and I think there's like I don't know, that might be navy, and then a light blue, green, yellow, orange, red. That can be brown and black, and then I guess there should be like a dark brown and then a black, I guess. So I think those are the 12 colors that was introduced later on. And that's what's cool about this brand, I feel, is not just the history anymore, because history is history, yes, obviously, but it doesn't serve you when the stuff that they make at the time you no longer really need in modern times. So their way of making it modern is by introducing colors, which I think is very relevant, right? Having more color choices is a lot more personal. And so even though the canvas is still what they kind of had at the time, that is part of the history, I suppose. But to be able to choose it in different colors and have different offerings, like more than just trunks and boxes, I think that's what's cool about this brand.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you have something that has a lot of history, those items you could buy them because you appreciate the history and you want a piece of the history in your home, like the trunks, which is what LV does, right? They sell the trunks. People use it for decorative, they use it to store their things, but nobody's going to use that for traveling anymore
Yeah.
because it's just ridiculous. There's no way to carry it, you can't check it in. So modern times for historical items may not be suitable, but it's nice to know that a brand has been around and still making things that captures some of that history to today. So it's actually pretty precious to have something as historical as that, but make it modern and make it usable and make it for
Mhm.
us every day, right? So I like this. It has a little bit of everything, right? History. It's got that kind of like going out travel style, but yet not like chunky trunk hard case, and fun, modern.
Yeah, and they still, I guess maybe not the same artisans that would make trunks, but they've evolved to include bags, and I guess there's the whole craftsmanship aspect of it. Apparently these bags or these items are still, a lot of it is handmade. I think aside from the canvas being kind of manufactured at a larger scale, I believe brands like Goyard still kind of hand stitch. I think so. I don't know if I've seen that anywhere officially, but I believe that's part of what the brand can offer, is that it's supposedly handmade, kind of like how LV tells you sometimes they're handmade.
I don't know when kind of like stretch the truth a little bit, but we'll
Could
take
be,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Handmade with machines. That's right.
Oh. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay, so I chose this because I was like, if I needed a briefcase, I wouldn't mind getting this, because
Yes.
like I said, there's not I haven't seen a ton of Goyard bags here where I live. I mean, there are some people do own them, but I honestly really don't see them usually. So if I were to get this, I think it's still um pretty what's the word I want to use? It's not so under the radar, but it's kind of like, oh, you don't really know this brand because not a lot of people know about it. So I feel that way. And again, I just feel like this is not exactly the same as a trunk, but kind of close. Like kind of close, you know, it has those handles, those corners, it has the same canvas. Again, I chose the black with the dark brown trim. And yeah, I just like the layout of this. I also really like that outside pocket. It's good to have an outside pocket on anything, on any bags, but especially briefcases.
I think that's a really good point. When I saw this, when you picked this, I said, "Oh, cool!" Like it's really one of those bags that I would see, like an art director would carry
Yes.
to the office. Like, and you really arty. You know, you want to be you want to look professional, but you want to have a bit of like jazz to your bag. And I thought, wow, nice. Then I saw that outside pocket. I was like, yes, this is made by somebody that uses briefcases.
Yes. It's so any bags that are not just wide open easily, that don't have an outside pocket, oh my gosh, it's so missing the mark nowadays. You really need an outside pocket nowadays.
This is nice.
I also like that the straps are adjustable.
It has.
You see the handles? You can kind of change the height a bit.
Yes.
That's cool.
Clever.
Yeah.
Any of you have this bag in the audience? Let us know. I think
yeah,
it's a
and
cool
also
bag.
one thing I don't appreciate about their website is that there's no pricing. I don't know how much these things cost.
Yeah, same as Faure Le Page. So when we get there, we're like, sorry, we don't know the price.
Oh, really? So for Faure Le Page, I was able to see them in USD.
Oh, sorry. For Sing dollar. Yeah. For Sing dollars.
Okay, so but there's at least a price on Goyard's webpage. There's no pricing. Kind of how, which other brand does that? They don't have pricing.
Which brand does?
Well, Chanel has pricing, but like, is there another brand that doesn't have pricing? I thought there was. Oh, you know what? Dior used to not have pricing for Canada. And that was always so frustrating at the time. Because, yeah, what's the use of like to look up a Europe price when they'll never charge you the Europe price here, right? So, yeah, Dior used to not have Canadian pricing. So I was like, oh, I don't know how much they cost here until you have to go to the store and ask, right?
All right, next. Ooh. Okay, this is me. I picked this because I thought it was so cute. It's like a mini Kelly, but not a mini Kelly. It's called the Saigon supple mini bag. They have another version, which is, I think it's just the Saigon mini bag, and that has more wood to it. So again, this has little elements of the history, the trunk making history, the wood, the leather, the canvas. And this to me is, I feel could be a bit more everyday because the other one has just so much wood. It has it in the front. I should have put a picture as well, but you can go to the site and see. It has wood at the front where the canvas is, and then it has at the back. So in my head, I just feel like it might be a bit heavier. So they have this more like supple, maybe softer version, which I like. It has the mini Kelly look to it, as a bit like a Constance strap. If you look at the way the strap goes under the handle. So I don't know how does that. I don't think you'll ever use it doubled up, but it's just that it's got a little element here and there. And I love a wooden handle. How practical is this? I really don't know. Day-to-day use, but it's still really beautiful, and it has that. So like it says here, it inherits all our trunk making signature codes using the wood and the leather corners.
When I saw this bag, it reminded me of the Delvaux bag.
That's right. It does.
It's a very similar shape, except this one is way easier to open because it's just slide in and slide out. Which I think this would be a bit more practical in that sense. But yeah, the shape itself really reminded me of the Delvaux.
That's true. The front buckle, right? But so much better. You just literally put that flap over and then you slip it down.
Mhm.
Unlike the other one where it's an actual buckle.
Yeah. By the
I
way,
have to
guys,
say,
we did a whole like similar sort of live stream on Delvaux, Moynat, and I think Kat will link that in the description box if you want to check those out. Just really
yep,
like brands that we don't see a lot, but when you get to know the history a bit more, you're like, oh, now I appreciate the brand a lot more.
I do. I do. I have to say one more thing before I forget. And I didn't realize this because when I was like looking at their site and I picked this is because what I think all brands should learn from is to put the weight of the
Yes,
bag in the
correct.
description. Goya, if you look here, it might be a bit small, but it says 15 centimeters times 7.5 times 20 centimeters, 250 grams. Like,
It's very light.
it's very light. Like, it's light already. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
wow. Good
Yes,
information.
I noticed that too. Which is why I was like, oh, that is so cool. Because sometimes you look at something, it looks very structured. You think that, oh, maybe it's very, very heavy, but it's not necessarily the case. It just depends on the material they use, how thick, um, of course, how big the item is. But to know that's 250 grams, that's like just a bit over half a pound. That's so light.
It's so light. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so light. It's practically, it's just like a light little bag. I think that's, yeah. I think the canvas, maybe that's why it makes it light, but it still has that leather element to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find this to be super good. This feature, every brand should learn. Okay. Every single
Yes.
brand should have a weight in their description. So, brands, take note. Okay, let's go to this one.
Okay, so I said that I wouldn't buy a trunk normally, but they have this like miniature version. It's only 17 centimeters by 24 centimeters, and it's only about a pound and a half. It's so cute. I don't know what I would use it for, but it's nice. And if I really
Mhm.
wanted a piece of heritage from the house, but not necessarily buy a huge trunk because already don't have that space. But if I wanted something that is very meaningful, very heritage to the house, and because they were originally a trunk making company, I would get something like this. And I totally think it's super cute.
Yes. It's really nice. And it's like what's LV's version? Petite Mal. That's why I think a lot of
Well, this might be a bit bigger than the petite malle because this one is 24 centimeters. So it's like a
oh, it's
little
much
box,
bigger. Yeah,
right?
actually. Yeah, it is quite big.
24 centimeters like this.
Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
bigger, huh?
17. It's like a little, it's like a little MacBook size, but a bit, well, 7 centimeter wide, right? The depth. So it's a little box. It's not so small like the petite malle, but
Mm,
yeah.
quite big.
Maybe you could be, I don't know, if you were like a makeup artist, you can put your makeup in this maybe. Or you
It
can
could
choose
be
the
a
bigger size.
little.
This is just one of the size. There's actually many more sizes. I just kind of took one that is on the smaller side, but not so tiny that is nothing, that you can't put anything in it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I could use it for work. It could be like the
Yeah,
briefcase version, but not
it could be.
so briefcase like.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cute. The green, wow, the
Very
green is
cute.
just beautiful. So rich.
Yeah, I think they do their green very well. In fact, I actually like all their colors. All the
Mhm.
colors in that canvas is very vibrant. Doesn't matter which color you pick, like you put your cursor on, it's just every color, even the yellow, it stands out, the red, burgundy, the blue, if you like a blue, but their green is just gorgeous.
Absolutely. Nice. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, so this is me. There's something about this duffel bag. Maybe it's the traveling bug that is kind of coming out. I feel like I want to travel. I feel like I want to go holiday. So I looked at the travel section and oh my gosh, they have so many bags for traveling, so many accessories as well for traveling, little pouches and all. But I decided to go for a bag, which is it's called the Boeing 45 bag, reminiscence of the Keepall 45, I guess. Good size. I think this is a good hand carry size. You can use it like is exactly what it is. Carry on luggage, sports bag, just for a weekend. Again, has all the little elements of, I think, from their past. Leather corners. It has the canvas, it has the leather, and it even has, this like kind of, you can't see here, but I feel like the stripes here probably, I don't know, maybe could have been wood last time, because if the mini Saigon, Saigon bag, the two wood pillars are on the bag, and I just wonder whether that's the design here. But instead of wood, they use canvas. It also reinforces the bag and make it like more sturdy. I don't know. I just thought this would be a good alternative to the everyone has an LV Keepall kind of thing, and yeah, great for traveling.
You know what I like about this one? It has feet on it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't realize that. Yes, that's true.
I was like, a travel bag that has feet. Yay. I don't know. I can't remember if the LV one has it, but this one is very prominent. And also the zipper, I guess because if you unbutton, it becomes more of a like a tote looking one. So your zipper can really go all the way across. So that's nice about it too.
Yeah. One more feature I almost forgot to mention is the same feature that you mentioned about the briefcase, where the straps can be made taller or lengthened. And one of the biggest irks of why I never purchased myself a Keepall is the fact that it's only handheld, right?
Right.
So I wonder if you extend this all the way up, you could actually, like, if you're, you probably need to be a bit more petite, but you could actually put it at your shoulder.
I think you could, as long as it's not too overfilled. You probably could, I think.
Yeah, no longer hand carry only. So sometimes, if you don't have the bag filled to the brim with a lot of heavy things, it's just that you want to, some things carried at the shoulder because you got more strength here. It's easier. So having the straps made longer, or at least have the option to make it longer, brilliant. Brilliant feature to have.
And not only that, actually, another thing that I just thinking of, because you know how with luggages, especially, let's say LV one, right? You use it a lot. It's especially those that are like almost vintage, you have it for a long time, then you want to kind of refurbish it, but you have to send it away. With this one, you just ask them like, hey, can I just have the repair? And you just attach it yourself. You don't have to lose your bag for a while. So that's so cool about it. I think that's one of the cons of having this totally detachable.
That's a good one, actually. Yeah.
Right? Because every time you send something away, you don't know how long it takes to send it back for them to just repair a little. It's repair a handle, for example, right? It takes several weeks, if not months. And you're like, oh, now I'm without my bag for a long time.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, we've got one more item, and it's also mine. And again, I think it's the traveling bug. It's just me thinking of how to pack my things. So I picked this for those watch lovers out there. Now, I like to carry like my Chanel watch, my Cartier watch in little baggies, and I find that it's okay if I pack it in my carry-on. I kind of wrap it around my clothes. I don't have a proper traveling case, and the most traveling cases that I've seen are either softer, like soft cases as well. So what's the point? Or they're a whole box where it's chunky, it's heavy, it's got corners. You don't want to be bringing that around. So when I saw this, I thought, it looks like it's sturdy, because if you look at the kind of like the three sections, that looks hard. If any of you have this, let me know. But I just imagine that this part of the leather here is hard, so it keeps height from the top of the canvas onto the watch. And it says here 2 watches, but I feel like you could stretch it to maybe 3. Maybe if you have like smaller, thinner watches, like my Hermes Nantucket, like you have 2 of those, then you could put one more, which is maybe your big Daytona 40, you don't know what size, on one side. And you can carry your watch along with you, protected. So I found this to be quite a nice little traveling case for people who travel with their watches.
Yeah, that's nice. Actually, I'm just noticing something. This case is heavier than the bag earlier.
Yep.
It must be really sturdy.
It has to be, because your
Yeah.
watches, you don't want to get banged around, right?
Yeah.
You want to, especially if you have automatic watches, you need to be more careful with it. So I try to be, because I don't have one of these. So I actually wrap my watch and then pack it in my clothes and I'll put it together. But I've always wondered, like, what would it be like to have a proper case? But it's not easy to find a really nice one that is solid, but doesn't like, take up too much bulk as well. I feel like this part where I was talking about these 3 pieces here, it's made of wood. That's why, or something harder. That's why it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. This will make a good gift for say if you know somebody or your partner travels a lot, loves watches. This would make a really good traveling gift as well.
Totally.
Okay, so we are done with Goya. We told you it's intense. It's like
Almost
we
an
hit the
hour.
watch. It's almost an hour. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Faure Le Page, it's shorter, more concise because, well, they have a longer history. Like if you look at this picture, they call themselves the oldest Parisian luxury leather house. That's because
Mm.
it is really old. It's 1717. However, the history, which I found and through my research on their website as well as Wikipedia, is not as much. And I wonder if it's because the record wasn't kept that much or they just picked out a few things. So let's start. I try to keep it like a little shorter, but they are just as established as Goyard. Also, generations and generations of people passing it down. So just a timeline, okay? Let's start with the first time it was born. So in 1717, that's the birth of the brand, right? It started by this businessman called Louis Pickney, and he brought the brand. He started the brand, right? And it started off as a gunsmith and swordsman. So they were in weaponry, even their logo. And if you go, I think some of their items still has shapes of guns and pistols. So it really started off with that as a history in 1717. So it didn't start as Faure Le Page. We will get there. We will get there years later. Okay, so between Louis Pickney and I'm gonna butcher all the names, Jean Le Page, there was also another person, Pierre Le Page. So this Pierre Le Page married Louis Pickney's niece and then took over the business. So I didn't put him because I don't have enough space in my slide anyway. So Pierre Le Page. How do you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's fine the way you said it. Pierre Le Page.
Yeah, okay. So there's not much history about him. Basically, he also was into the business, doing all the armory and all that. Then later he passed it down to his nephew Jean Le Page, who actually took the business to the next level. Why? Because he was really interested in patents and innovations, and he actually grew the business to be much, much more. So then you can see the Le Page name starting to come into the business. Okay, and then this, so many years later, so between Jean Le Page to Le Page Montour, there was this person called Gilles Michael Louis Montour Le Page. Anyway, the reason I'm putting this is because the brand was not known as Jean Le Page. It wasn't known as Jean Le Page. It had the Le Page name, but because of Gilles Michael Louis Montour Lepage, he used to sign like on all the like documents when he would maybe it was a part of like what we call like an invoice and a purchase order. Those documents he would sign Lepage Montour. So the brand for a long time was known as Lepage Montour. Help me out.
Moutier. Moutier.
Sorry.
Moutier. Lepage Moutier.
Moustier, yeah. And yeah, so again, all these years, it's still creating what's this like armory, weapons. They were still in the business, and they were actually very, very known with the noblemen in Paris that they provide to, right? So guns. So this is a picture. This picture is very interesting because this gun is a real pistol or gun that has the signature, the full name of Gilles Michael Louis Moutier Lepage.
It's a very long name.
It's a very long name. It's a very long name. Okay. Oh, finally. Faure Le Page as a name appeared in 1865. So you see, from 1717 out to 1865, many years later, only it took the name of Faure Le Page. So he is the descendant of Pygmy. So they're part of the family. He is actually I think he is the nephew. Yeah, so nephew of Gilles Michael Louis Moutier Lepage, and his name is Emile Henry Faure Lepage. So he took over the business and renamed it as Faure Lepage. Finally, still in armory, still making weaponry, and that's always been until 1925. So all the way until that, they just created weapons. And there was some conflicting information that I found between Wikipedia and some articles that I read that actually, if you read the history, they do create weapons. But there was one article that I read that said that actually never created weapons, that they only created ceremonial weapons, meaning they're not actually weapons to fire and use in war for actual war, but they're more ceremonial. So noblemen would maybe have some kind of march, and they could fire their actual weapons, but they're never for war. They're more for for show, for events, and for decoration. So if any of you know this and can verify, let us know, because they do create weapons, just that is it for war or is it for ceremonies only? Because they're all from guns, right? They make guns. Okay, so until 1925. Okay, so they continued to expand, but this is where they sort of turned and started to make more goods, leather goods, for hunting. So now from weaponry, they started to make the saddles and the like cases where people don't actually go and like kind of like protect their armory, like little bags, but it's still for hunting. So I believe during that time it is more for just noble people will go and hunt things. I'm trying to imagine what they would do with hunting gear, but yes, that was all the way they made leather goods for hunting. So they expanded, just not making the weapons anymore, but the cases, the pouches, the bags, but that's still in related to hunting and weaponry. And then finally, this is when there was an expansion into more of the fashion world. So Augustin de Buffon, this guy,
I don't know, Buffon.
Buffon, yeah, he's actually a former Dior. They call him a staffer, but maybe he's some really high-end stuff, like top-tier staffer that acquired the brand and then totally revived the status, because it's such a long history. People who are in the, noble people, really rich people who know the brand, they make great weapons, ceremonial weapons, hunting goods, bags for hunting, keeping all these kind of precious items. So they had a really interesting following. So he actually acquired the brand and tapped on the heritage and now started to create leather goods, but for fashion. So until 2009, that's when they started to grow in a different direction, still tapping on the history, which is why you will see some of their products has a picture of pattern of guns, and maybe it still has that element of hunting, but that heritage is now in fashion. So 2009, you could say it's fairly a young brand when it comes to fashion,
Right.
but a super long history.
Yeah. I guess that would make it longer than Goyard, even before Maison Martin, because I believe Maison, if I remember correctly on my slides, it's 17 something, but it's not 1717.
Oh yeah, it's older. Well, they
Yeah.
call themselves. Let me go back. They call themselves the oldest Parisian luxury leather
Mm.
house. Even the
But
the
is that
the
right though? Because they were a gunsmith and swordsmith at the beginning. They weren't. Maybe that also already included leather goods for leather accessories for guns. Maybe. Okay.
maybe. But still, it's like stretching the truth, right? They have been around since 1770.
I guess yeah. If you count the date only. But I can see on their sign, like on the photo, it's on the windows, on top of the window, it says Arme de Luxe. So that means luxury armory, like luxury guns.
Armory.
Um, and Arme de Chasse means hunting guns. So it sounds like just from the signs that they are just selling guns, but I'm guessing they make the accessory to like the holster for the gun.
Yeah, maybe the holster, the
Right,
covering, they make something, but it's
right,
not their main focus. The main focus is
right,
actually the swords and the guns and
right.
all of that.
Cool.
Interesting, right? Okay, so let's go next one. Okay, so this is their store, 21 Rue Cambon. There's reason to this information, which we will go later on. They're also obsessed with a certain number. We'll come to that. So this is their store. If in Paris, you can go. This is their 7th Parisian address. Now, if you ever go there, I think what's interesting, what's unique about this is that they actually have a lot of their, they call it the precious heirlooms of the family, the Faure Le Page family. So rifles, medals, things that they won over the years. So just like Goya, they participate in a lot of exhibitions over the 1800s, and they also go along bringing their armory, and maybe it comes with a bit of the leather, but they participate in all of that. That's why they're very famous for it. Armory, ceremonial items. So you see, what's one of the heirlooms? A hunting rifle of Marie Antoinette, next to one of the gold medal awards that the firm won in Paris
Mm,
World Fair 1878.
yeah.
So if you ever go there, you could also get what do you call that? Like specially made items as well. If any of you have gone to the 21 Rue Cambon store, let us know how was the experience. It looks like a place that if I were to go to Paris, I would want to visit and just take in these very historical items. It's almost maybe like almost like a museum.
Oh yeah, same with I didn't mention it earlier, but same with the 233 Rue on Saint Honoré store, the Goyard store. That's the store where you can make special orders of items.
Mm.
So special order of a bag or a trunk. Of a bag, I'm not sure, but of a trunk, I know you can. Of a bag, I might have to double check that. But I know you can do special orders there.
Yeah, imagine if you go, like, if you really want to get something that limit, like you're a big fan of the brand, you want to get something
Just for
limited
you,
edition,
yeah.
like just for yourself, go there on the
Mm-hmm.
first day. I wonder how long does it take? Would they send it to you if you're overseas? Yeah, so if
I
any
don't
of you have
know.
experienced it, like, yeah, how are you gonna get it, right? Maybe.
I'm sure if you're a celebrity, they'll send it to you.
When because Foray Lepage, when they started, they didn't have website, okay? It's
Mm,
really like kind of messy, half stitched together website, because they're still outlet based, and they didn't have stores around the world. They did expand in the past, what, 10 more than 10 years, right? Just under 15 years, they've expanded throughout the world. They have stores in Singapore as well now. But
Mm-hmm.
my bag was actually bought through email with the
Oh,
Faure Le Page customer service, and delivered directly from Paris, maybe the store, I don't know, maybe not one of these stores, all the way to Malaysia. I mean, when I got my bag, it was an interesting experience because it was email. I had to pay, I think it was I'm trying to recall right now. How did I pay? Oh, I gave them my credit card. Those are the days where you would just send your credit card details on email, like, here's my credit card
oh,
details.
really?
And they, yeah, they
Mhm.
literally charged it in that store and deducted the tax for me, and they sent it over. When it arrived in Malaysia, obviously I had to pay customs because it went through customs at the high price, and I paid
Mm.
local customs, but it's turned out to be something that I could get. Then the following year they opened the store in Singapore. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
But
I
still, it was
see.
interesting. That was how they did business with places that didn't have a boutique.
That's interesting that you mentioned that. I had no idea because I was pricing, because remember I said that I could see the price in USD when I was browsing Le Faure Le Page. And I was pricing out a tote and I went through the checkout, put my address in, and it calculated the taxes, the custom duties, the shipping costs, and there was a total. You could put your credit card in. Obviously, it's a way more modern now, and it even included all the tax and duties, which so much more automated now. So anybody around the world can order from their website now instead of having
Mm.
to do it via email, of course.
Yeah, I still have the emails, and I I remember because she actually, it was and wait, hang on. The good thing about it was priced at their local Paris price.
That's really good.
Yeah, so I was buying literally a Faure Le Page bag using the Europe pricing,
Right.
deducted the tax, which you took off like
Ah,
20%,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then shipped it to me. I had to pay shipping, which was, I think it was like 80 euros or something.
Mm,
And then added on top of that, and then when it shipped in, I had to pay local tax. So that was the
mm.
only unfortunate thing. But otherwise, I got the bag at a euro price.
Yeah, that's really fair actually that they do that. I'm not sure if they would have like, put the equivalent of a European price in USD. That I'm not sure at all. I have no idea. I wouldn't be
But
able
now
to
they
check
wouldn't
that out.
because they have stores in US. So the
Also,
reason
maybe
they did that is because there was no outlet in Singapore. They would not, now you can't. Now if they say, oh, you email them, you say I want a bag, they'll say go to the Singapore outlet. But maybe if
right,
you're in Malaysia, I don't think there's a Faure Le Page in Malaysia. You could still, but they might want to ship it from Singapore. I don't know. So if any
right.
of you are in a location that does not have a Faure Le Page and you're want to get it, how are you getting your bags? Or you've gotten it?
Mm-hmm.
So that was just an interesting sharing. Like, I probably got the bag from this store. I'm hoping. I'll have to check the address, shipping address. Okay, this is actually a little video. Let me play a little video for you to see. Okay, so the scale and the motif, I guess this is the handmade part that they all say that it is handmade. So it is the signature pattern of Faure Le Page. It represents power, strength, and seduction. So, ikal, eclair?
Ikai, ikai. It means
Right.
scale.
Okay, so I've heard things, it's like dragon scales, so it's like power and strength. So in mythology, it's scale always has been an emblem captivating women, Venus, Diana, Serene, or nymphs. So there's all this seduction part of it. It's very they call themselves the weapon of seduction. I don't know why, but that is their theme. Okay, so canvas is handcrafted, screen printed using a process that's similar to printing on silk. So if you ever seen how silk is printed, the process is really, really laborers, and it takes skill. So they are saying that their canvas, that screen printing is also using the same method. And this technique is from the city of Leon. Again, very historical. Oh. Okay, so interesting. All right, so now let's come to I think this is my last slide before we go into the slides on the bags. So why number 7? Number 7 is very symbolic to the house's brand. I mean the name. So 7 things. So there are 7 historical moments. Firstly, the brand's 1717 opening of the first auction house. So on the dress. 7 generations of families. So the Louis Pickney, the Pierre Lepage, Jean Lepage, a few Jean Lepage. Then there's also the Henry Lepage, Gilles, and then finally the one that's Faure Le Page. So 7 generations of family owning the brand. 7 French sovereigns. So these are like the people who, they're the noble people that are part of the brand. They, I don't know, maybe they buy from the brand. And then, okay, then for the brand, for the scales, the canvas, which I didn't put inside the slide, but this is one information that is available in the website. They will tell you the 7 steps that is needed to create the canvas. So it's not just get the leather and then screen print it. It actually goes through 7 steps to create this final piece that you see. So 7 again. 7 scales that separate the signatures that punctuate the canvas. So if you look at it, you can actually see 7 scales on the canvas. Here's where it gets a little bit like, okay, we're trying to make 7. The address. This is my marketing person. Oh, you couldn't get 2 more, right? Okay, so 7, 7 times 3 equals the address of 21 Rue Cambon, which is the 7 Parisian address. Whatever it takes, right? And then 7 times 2 is the address for an opening of the auction house. So they also have another location, which was opened on the 14th of September, which is 7 times 2. So now you know why 7 is the brand's lucky number. Okay. Daily Battle 27. Let's get into the bag.
I know. So I picked 2 totes, and one of them is the Daily Battle 27. I just like the proportions of this tote. If you notice the slide afterwards, when we're going to look at it later, the straps are the same size, I believe, but the bag is bigger. Like this is the small. No, wait, there's a 19. That's too small. For me, to be a tote where you can kind of just throw things in without having to like care about it so much, but still have enough space for your daily, everyday battle, like they say on their website. I think this is the cutest tote. It kind of reminds me of it somewhat reminds me of the PM size from Louis Vuitton, but I like this one more, obviously because the strap is adjustable. I feel like with Louis Vuitton, the smaller the bag, the shorter the strap, which is really short. So I like that if you have a smaller bag, you still have the option of making the strap longer. And I quite like this gray color. I think it's very nice. Kind of reminds me, I don't know, how many colors are there here? 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay.
9
8 colors. So not quite 12, but still. I kind of click through all of them. They all look very nice. But this gray on this bag just looks super cute.
Yeah. This is, I have this bag. So
you have the 27.
No, I don't have any. I have 32. Mine's the 32.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I saw this in store, and I thought exactly what you said. It's super cute. It's one of those everyday daily battle bags that's not so large that is like obviously a tote, but it still has that tote kind of look, but in a cuter form.
Yeah, actually, I was using my Longchamp, the small size, the newest one that I got, and my mom saw it, And the moment my mom saw it and she kept looking at it, I knew she liked it. So it was similar. It's similar size to this 27 battle tote. It's just the cutest size to kind of carry around.
It
And
is.
yeah, it's just yeah, it is. And it's not so tote-y, It's not so like, oh, you're going on a trip type of thing. It's still kind of a bit more dressy. So yeah, I think it's super cute. And the price, yeah, price is okay, 1,200 USD. That's what it's showing
Yes.
on my Okay, so the next one, I had to choose at least their more generous size taupe. I didn't want to go too big. I think 32 would be the size I would maximum go with. And they didn't show the interior of the smaller one, but this one they showed the interior and it has this pocket. Is it
Yep.
detachable?
No,
Okay,
it's not
that's really
detachable.
cool. Yeah. So one thing that I noticed about the strap is that they look identical to the one earlier, but the bag is bigger. So I thought that was really interesting. I'm not sure if I would go bigger than this size just because of that detail, but again, I mean, if I didn't already have two totes, I think this would a great addition because I really do like the fact that you can adjust it. Have you had any issues with the thing curling?
Oh, actually, let me see. No,
I'm just curious.
initially
Not
yes.
it
Initially
is?
yes, when it was first like brand new. So let me just grab my bag. Hang on.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so that would be the only thing I'd be like, it might bug me a little bit, but after you use it a while and it just becomes sort of like part of you, then I'm sure it wouldn't matter anymore.
So my bag here, like this part, it initially it I think when it's new, it's so stiff it did curl, but after I don't know after using it for like a while and I kept like just playing with it and it softened. It doesn't stick up anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, initially it was like ooh, came up like this
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit,
yeah.
but now it somehow behaved itself and went down
Yeah.
again. But it's fine. Yeah, it's such I love this bag so much. So good.
Did they have all these colors before?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think so. I
Okay.
think I think they did. In fact, they all. I remember looking at yellow.
Mm.
Oh, sorry. No, I remember looking at this one with a yellow trim. Not yellow as the yellow trim, which I decided against. It was between this Paris blue color and a one with the yellow trim. But yeah, maybe they didn't have so many colors then. Yeah, I think I
Okay.
wouldn't have just gone with blue, or maybe I would have picked like this gray because it's
Mm.
it's really nice as well. So maybe not, huh?
Yeah, I was just curious because I was like, oh, I really like all the different colors. I think that's what's interesting about these other brands that are less mainstream than Louis Vuitton. I mean, LV does make the seasonal ones too, and you can also customize, and that's fun, but it's not like so many colors like these. Literally, it's a rainbow of color. So that's really nice about these brands.
Yeah. Okay. This me? Yeah, that's me, right? So Parade Soft 23. This came to my attention because I actually saw Mel in Melbourne get this bag. I can't recall if this is the exact size that she went for because there is one size I believe smaller than this. But I love the details on this bag. It is I think I'm having like a Kelly face because still you have a little top handle, little strap, and I'm not sure if it comes out, but the strap has this intertwined leather that just makes the sorry not the strap the handle has this intertwined leather that has it just makes it a little bit more I don't know, makes it more interesting on the bag. And again, I picked green because this green, though it's not as bright as the Goya green, I still think it's a really nice, rich, neutral green. And the little pop of yellow along the canvas, which you can see, like the yellow dots, is actually the background. And then the Faure Le Page, I think it gives it a bit of more like a pop of color. And another plus point of this bag is the back
Mhm.
pocket. Oh, we love a back pocket.
Yeah.
And it
I
has
saw
several
that. I
colors for
definitely
this.
saw
Yes.
that.
So 23 centimeters is a decent size bag. So yeah, it's like it's a decent
It's like a
size.
little briefcase.
Yeah, little briefcase. Gives you a bit of that, work but funness to it. I really like this. So I'm hoping when I have some free time to actually go and see this bag in store. The last time I went, I didn't. That was like oof, feels like months, but maybe it was before that. It was like a long time ago. That yeah, I don't remember seeing this bag in store.
Yeah, it's quite nice. And I feel like with these brands, what's special about them is that if you're tired of all the mainstream stuff, go check them out because you might find something you like. And then now that you know the history, it makes it more special, right? You look at the scale, you're like, oh yeah, that's supposed to mean strength
Seven.
and yeah, and the number seven too. Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, that's me still. Okay. Now, I all of a sudden have been interested in my own head to look for a long bag, like a vertical north-south bag for work. Because
Mm.
I actually went for like my past week, I went for a meeting, and I was the only like a part of the team that was still carried this. I had to take it out. Okay, like I was carrying this gigantic. I mean, it's a good bag. Okay, don't get me wrong. I've been using this for. This is wow. This is 10 years. This is 10 years old. This is a present. This is a crumpler bag with the laptop. It's like so.
Yeah.
It's just it's a workhorse, and but everyone else was carrying one of these like totes. So Gucci tote. There was this Tumi tote, and they were putting their notebook inside, and they slipped their laptop, and it just looks so much more professional. Whereas for me, I was like, I was dressed like so professionally with a nice handbag, but I had this backpack, crumpler gray, and I felt like I'm so not in. Just kidding, okay. But I was having a chat with them. I said, why doesn't that not protect your laptop? And they were telling me it does. You should put a sleeve with your laptop. And
Yeah.
with the backpack, it just can be a bit clunky. And I do agree with them. I do struggle with my backpack a little bit, with all that. So long story short, I am on the lookout for a nice north-south bag. And this popped out, obviously on the men's side. I thought it looked kind of nice, slightly different, has a bit of pattern, different colors. The vertical 30, which maybe a little slimmer, only has 3 colors. The 33, which it's the same one that the model is wearing, I feel like could be a good work bag, when you put your laptop, you put your notebook, a water bottle, things that you don't want to carry in your backpack, but still suitable for work. And then you've got, a nice tote for that. And then you got your like really nice handbag on one side. So that has 4 colors. So yeah, any of you have a vertical bag, let me know. I am on a hunt.
I was really surprised when you chose this because I always heard you say in the past you don't like north south bags because it's like reaching in a bottomless pit. Which I was like, why are you choosing that? But now I get it.
Now you get it, right? Even I was like, ooh, north-south bag.
Actually, it's so interesting. Why are those two the same price?
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Why is the bigger one the same price as the
Well,
30?
it's not very much bigger. And bags that guys, men's line tends to be priced very differently.
More,
Maybe, I don't
yeah.
know, maybe priced
They don't have a
wrongly.
premium.
We have a premium. There's a girl tax.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
But yes, the reason is because I thought a nice work bag that looks presentable, not that I'm carrying the whole school textbooks and more to the
Yeah.
office, I think would be so suitable. So with everything that's opening up, I thought if you are looking for a north-south bag that fits a laptop, fits some files, umbrella, water bottle, you have one at Faure Le Page.
Nice. Okay, so I picked this little backpack and I checked out all the other sizes. I wasn't interested in the regular size backpack, but this one is just so cute. And obviously, it's not going to fit as much, but it kind of really reminded me of the LV little palm spring. Not quite the same, but kind of just really cute. It's more like a daily handbag. That's how I would use it. And yeah, I don't know. It's just so cute. I had like all the zipper pockets outside. It's really well
Very
priced.
functional.
It's very functional. It's actually so well priced now that I think about it. Because I believe the LV Palm Spring has increased. I don't even know how much it is now. Probably 3,000. It's probably really expensive now. It really does not make any sense. Even when it first debuted, I think everyone was already kind of like, "Oh, what is this for a child?" But then it became really popular, and obviously it was very, very useful. I owned it for a time. Unfortunately, there was a defect, as with many things from LV. But yeah, this kind of just reminded me of that. So I thought it was super cute, and I would travel with this. It's not a brand that is so loud that you would necessarily know, but it's cool to have a little backpack on, I think. And I was just really impressed with the price. It's very, very reasonable.
I'm trying to look for that character from Star Wars that this bag reminds me of.
Oh.
The lady with the two
Oh, I Princess something? Princess.
princess.
Uh,
The one with the two don't.
I know I'm not good with names because
Yeah, I'm not good. And I was like, oh, what's the donut hair? I was like, okay. But yeah, it's just that when I saw the two things, I was like, oh, looks like those things. That hair loop. But super cute. Those two pockets at the outside, so functional. Like you don't need to go inside your bag and grab those things. Like I can just imagine what I would use the side pockets for. One for my keys if I'm going traveling, right? So one for keys and maybe like the hotel keys and card on one side, and then on the other side I could put maybe like hand sanitizer. So it's like, keys on one side, hand sanitizer on one. And then the front pocket, I could put like some small cash, like a smaller wallet, like the decoy wallet, the one that you put some money there, you easy access and take out some cards, maybe one card. And then on the inside is everything else. So having the pockets on the outside helps you segregate like what's important, what you need to reach very quickly.
Yeah. And if you look at the details, even like that handle, the same handle where it's rolled around with the leather, and even just the overall, I mean, there's quite a bit of leather on this bag. There's actually less canvas on this item than leather, which is the opposite of what you would normally see in their other things, which I thought it was so cool because the canvas becomes just the kind of the trim in this case.
Nice. I'm not sure about the straps though. Like I think everything about this bag is nice. Like the features, it's sort of like Goyard when I said, oh, this is a briefcase that somebody actually carried and say, put a back pocket, put an outside pocket. This one is like somebody's carrying like, oh my gosh, I need some, space. The only thing is I'm not sure about the leather strap with the two stripes on it. I get I don't,
it's one stripe.
maybe it's just personal preference. It's a little bit like my Daily Battle tote. They had this version, the Paris blue version, and then the version with yellow, the yellow trim. So this probably takes the same inspiration, like have a version have this like with the yellow trim. I
don't mind it.
Yeah, it's a preference. I don't know if I feel like it makes the bag look more which is okay for this. Yeah, it's okay for this because it makes the bag look more casual. With the Daily Battle tote, I wanted to use it for work and all. I felt like the yellow trim made it a little bit more like going out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, maybe it works for this, but I don't know. Maybe if it was just plain, I would like it as well. It's just me, I think.
Okay, to have more options. I mean, I don't know how popular this bag is really. I just thought after browsing everything, I thought this was something that is different from most other brands that I would consider buying because I mean, let's just face it, a Chanel backpack is, I mean, the price, I don't even want to look at it. Even LV is kind of insane now. And so when I
True.
saw this, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
true.
so cute. And it's actually so affordable. So
True.
I kind
True.
of
No,
came
that
from that angle too. Something that I would not buy in other brands. But then this one looks really user friendly, practical. Price is also pretty good, like not so insane. And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
looks
I actually like it. I like the whole layout is just, yeah, it's just functional. So
Mhm.
okay. Last one, I believe. I think this is the last one. Yeah.
Okay, so that's mine. Um, I I think you made that remark earlier that you had less choice in Faure Le Page. I felt the same way, but I didn't choose so many of the other bags. I mean, the backpack is kind of like a fun thing. So this is more of an accessory, but they advertise it more as a clutch. And I think it looks amazing as a clutch. First of all, the scales with the Faure Le Page logo on it just looks stunning on this clutch. You only see like the two logos in the front, and then the rest is the scale. It comes in an array of colors, literally. Just have fun at it on the actual website tonight. Click on all the little color dots, the pink, the blush pink, the
Yeah.
beige, all these colors, they're stunning. Even the green, the gray. I couldn't really choose, so I just went with black. And I think for a clutch, because clutches nowadays, I mean, unless you're a socialite, I mean, I don't really have that many events to go to. I think for a clutch that is this price friendly, I think it's actually worth it. I wouldn't really spend thousands and thousands of money of dollars on a clutch from any brand. So I thought 750, that's really, really good. And the size also, I really like that it kind of oversized. It's so cool.
Mm.
Yeah. So I really like this. I really like this. I just wish that it was a back pocket in the back. I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Oh, I
I
was
really
just
think
gonna
it's just an
say,
envelope. Yeah.
is that a back pocket?
I
Are you
don't
sure?
think it is. It doesn't say anywhere that it's a back pocket.
Mm.
So that is the only thing. I mean, it's fine because I guess it's supposed to be an evening social event type of accessory that you would bring with you. You shouldn't have to reach in your bag that often. So, because of the price, I will forgive it. And I just think as a clutch, it's fantastic. I love how the model is holding it. It looks oversized and everything.
Nice. Yes. I like it. I mean, I don't have an occasion for a clutch.
Yeah, me neither.
But yeah. But looking at this price compared to everything else out there right now, this is actually an affordable heritage brand clutch.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I think the
Okay.
closest thing to this price range is the YSL Uptown pouch. That is a great one
Mm,
too.
yes.
I have a feeling that this will be more user friendly because of the flexible canvas. So I might like this more about it, and just because you wouldn't see so many people carry this because it's such an obscure brand. I didn't even know about it until Kat got her bag, and then a few other
Hmm.
people did. It's such a, I mean, after we found out from today, it's such a young brand, really, where they started making leather goods. Before that, it was all armory and
Hunting
accessories for
goods.
that, right? So
It's very young. I mean, 29, 20, 20, 2009.
2009.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's fairly young. Yeah.
but for a young brand, it's expanded and it's really gaining momentum in terms of
Mhm.
its branding. And funny story is that when we were preparing this deck of slides, I was rearranging it. That's why people say Goyard or Faure Le Page. Can you imagine getting Goyard has been in this business longer, but people are getting comparing it because they just don't know which is better, which is the one to pick from. I actually pulled one of Goyard's items into the Faure Le Page because I was like, yeah, they kind of look the same. I was like, oh, sorry, oops, go back up to Goyard. But I mean, it's not about copying each other. It's just that both of them were born in a time where it's about that kind of making of heritage items, right? For noble people, for the royalty.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
everyone wants to brand their own with a motif that is meaningful for their heritage, right? So they use scales in this case. Previously, they used dots in the chevron pattern that kind of reminds you of their log driving ancestry in the Goyard
Mhm.
family. So now that we know these things, it makes more sense that they created the motif that way and why they did it. And that becomes, I mean, I think without even knowing the history, you already find the motif very attractive, isn't it?
Yeah.
I already find them attractive. I don't know why, but now that you know more, it's like, oh, now you even appreciate it more. So I really like that about it.
Okay, I think this is the last. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay, now we told you it was a monster day today. So we're gonna start our Q&A. We actually have one question already from Stanza 888. So does anyone have the mini L pin or Alpine? Is it easy to use? Are the straps painful when carrying a little bit more like a water bottle? So this is actually from Goyard, the brand. So mini Alpine from Goyard. If any of you have it, well, both of us don't. So
Yeah.
if you can share, is it easy to use? How does the straps feel like? And let me just get out from here. Oh,
Now I
we
really
hope you
want to check out.
enjoyed that. Wow, because that
Give it
was
a like.
intense. Yeah, definitely give it a like. Definitely go to Amy's channel. Also subscribe because that's a lot of
And
hard
check out
work.
our old episodes where we talked about the other brands. Whenever we dive in like this and we really look at the history, you learn so much.
Yeah.
And it makes way more sense why the brand is the way they are and why they did certain things. And even
And
just
also,
knowing. Mhm.
sorry, continue. Sorry.
Oh, no,
No,
just
keep going.
I was just saying, and even just knowing how they had to go through some difficult times because of, well, the major historical events such as war. I mean, those are monumental. If you
Mhm.
just like put yourself in their shoes, right? It's crazy
Yeah.
how many generations of carrying through the the next generation is kind of crazy.
It's
I think that
true.
is why all these major French brands, as we love them so much, I think there's a reason why they're so renowned and that we sometimes without really any logical reasons, we love those things because the craftsmanship, the artisan qualities in their product shows through. And even though you don't know exactly why, but when you do and you recognize their heritage and where they come from, then
Mm,
it all makes sense.
yep. Yep. I work for a company that is generational in a way.
Okay.
And it's, just to pass down, not pass down, but like kind of like hand over is so intense. And it's not even one it's just, yeah, it's just like one level. And it's already like, ah, can you imagine? This is 7 generations, or like
Yeah.
Goya is like Pierre the Goya Gosa, all the way. Your sister, the nephew, the niece, the uncle, the brother-in-law married the niece. Oh my goodness. And they are still around. And every time they pass, they still bring they bring new, but they still bring the essence of the brand and that heritage, the
Mhm.
knowledge, the experience. They pass it down. It's literally like how does Chinese, they pass down that ancestral information. It's so precious. So yeah, I have more appreciation to both brands. I mean, I bought Faure Le Page because I thought, wow, unique. I like the difference. I like the size. But now that I know the history of starting off with the armory and then going hunting, and it actually was bought by just not just like a person from a totally different like line. I mean, not line, but not generational, but saw the potential. You don't want to lose that knowledge, right? And brought it up again. So it continues to live on now. And then Goya now, I'm like, ooh, I
Yeah.
know it's I'm interested. I mean, I've always liked the brand, but the reason I didn't pick it because when I was doing my research, not on history, is more of the difference of the canvas.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
The people that
Because
said,
there's this
Goya,
linen, right? Cotton linen, so it's
cotton
very
linen.
it's very soft. That's why they like it. Um, aside from that, I think that is how I came about. I mean, aside from not having the brand here locally available, I also most of the things I hear about Goyard Saint Louis tote is that the leather detaches from the leather straps detaches from the bag very early on, like cracks apparently. So that's one of the main thing
Oh,
that I hear on the reviews back then anyway. And that the canvas is I think it's thinner. Like when you compare that canvas to LV canvas, for example, LV is feels like leather, even though they say when I was doing my research, even though they say that, oh, the linen canvas, even though it looks like leather, I think that is why initially when I didn't know about LV so much, actually I didn't know anything about LV. I always thought it was leather too. Before I always thought it was leather. Even my mom, she thought it was leather. So I think that is why. But beyond that, actually, even with the brand Goya, I was surprised to find out because when I first was reading the literature, I was getting so confused. I'm like, what? It's like all these names, right? First of all, and then and then of course, um, before Francois, the first Francois Goyard established the company as Goyard. Before that, it was two other maisons, which I guess they were really small businesses at the time, really nothing that big, but just two other families that owned, and they passed it on very kind of like almost you can almost imagine it as a movie, right? Oh, I
mm.
took care of this girl and my employee, I married them, so I passed it down to them, like gave them my business, and then the next thing is like, oh, the person I hired, which happens to be François Goya, gave like made him an apprentice and then he took over the business when that person died. So it's really kind of like in a movie, you can see that happening. And
Yeah, they should make a movie.
yeah.
Faure Le Page's history, well, that's documented, is not as elaborate, right? The only part that's a little bit more. I'm thinking of Wikipedia because actually on the website Faure Le Page's website, there's not as much. They only have information on their scales, like
Mm,
why they what do you call it, like how they made it, the 7 steps, is it, I don't know, 7 steps. And but on like Wikipedia, when you talk about the history, only the John Lepage, which is actually the nephew, he's the one that has most of the histories, then his family and his wife and his, but other than that, it's still quite maybe it's the type of the business because it's weaponry and it's kind of this armor, so it's not something that the ordinary person will say, I want to work for a weapon store. You know what I mean? I just feel like maybe that's why it doesn't have, I'll pass it to my employee. Maybe, which is why it's only like 7 or 8 generations. The Lepage, and then it was the Gills, and then finally Emile. All right, Stephanie, do you think FLP has better durability than Goya? So I can only speak for myself. The reason I did pick the Daily Battle Tote from Faure Le Page, one is I heard that the canvas for Faure Le Page is thicker, and then Goyard. And there wasn't a lot of information of Faure Le Page when I got it that time. I think the only person that had the bag was, I think it was Mel in Melbourne. I think she was the first one that bought it. And I was like, ooh, interesting brand. I'm going to check it out. There was a lot of videos on Goyard, the St. Louis, and stories about it, puncturing through the linen and that it would rip if you carry too heavy. I've heard of that, which is why I thought I want the bag to have a bit more structure, which is actually the bottom here. So right, the corners
Actually,
here, and still looks like a
so
tote.
you have had LV items. Would you say that it's comparable to LV canvas, or how different is it to LV canvas?
Ooh, good question. I feel it's actually like today's LV canvas.
Okay.
So I only bought one LV bag. My last LV bag was not only bought, my last and only, no, I shouldn't say it. My last LV bag was my Petite Noe. And this Petite Noe, which I bought during 2020, was my last bag purchase from LV. And I was honestly surprised of how the canvas felt. It felt thin, but it felt like this kind of thinness to a certain extent. But that's because I have experience with old LV canvas, which is thick and very tough. And like you, I thought it was leather. I
Yeah.
swear, it was so thick and sturdy that I didn't know it was actually 100% cotton. I mean, it's 100% cotton, coated canvas cotton. So yeah, the new canvas from LV is more pliable, but it feels softer. And it's not to say it's not durable, but it does feel like today's LV canvas. I'm just wondering whether maybe this feels just a bit more stiff. I would say comparable to new LV canvas. But it's
Okay.
tough. It's tough, and definitely more substantial than Goyard. But there's a plus and minus to it, because the Goyard, people love it because it's soft and
It molds your body, right?
molds your body. It's not
Yeah.
so, sticks out in every
Light.
direction. Obviously, then it's flat. Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, because I do find that sometimes, as I think even with the LV, a never full tote, it's not heavy on its own, but after you've had it on your shoulders for hours and you're really carrying a lot of stuff in it, it actually gets heavy. So I think Goya comes in and kind of excels at lightness. And we saw some of the bags, right? You're like, what, half a pound for this? Is, I think you can already imagine it in clothing, right? Linen versus regular cotton. Linen is much more refined, wrinkles more easily, kind of has holes in it if you really look at it. That's how linen is. But it's not just linen, obviously. Linen, cotton, hemp, those are the three materials that they use in their canvas. But you can already kind of imagine, right, the properties, this being kind of more fluid, softer, the other being a bit more rigid. I think that's how I imagine it, because obviously I don't have either. But I see this question and I want to pull it from Vivi. What do you think of Goyard's strategy? Not so many boutiques, not available online. Does it make the brand more or less attractive?
Interesting question.
Yeah.
Um,
My thoughts initially when I read this is that I don't necessarily think that it's a bad idea not to have mini boutiques and not to make it available online. It's almost similar to how Hermes is with their quarter bags. It's not very good either. It's like, it's not bad, but it's not good either. I think what is not good about it is that because it's not available to the masses and very easily, you can't buy it. So you're losing all the the potential purchases from people who are actually genuinely interested, and they can't get it because it's not available in their area. However, by not making it so available everywhere, then you don't see it everywhere, and that is an appeal in its own. Like, if you think about it, you know, as much as we think we hear people own quarter bags, which I'm sure some people do, but it's really still not that easy to get, and so it makes it more kind of appealing in a way, and you kind of want to get it more, even though with Goyard is not quite at the level as Hermes, but the strategy is a little similar in that way. So it's neither good or bad. I'm not sure how they can remedy that. What do you think?
I'm kind of torn. Like I bought my Faure Le Page because I've never seen it. I bought it online, right? So did that make it attractive for me? I think at that time, yes. Having that little bit of mystery, like it's like, oh, no one else got this bag. I have to admit that definitely an appeal to that. But it's a risky. I think it can only work if the price of that item is still, you can sort of quote unquote make a mistake. You know what I mean? It's still expensive, but it's not like too much, right? And I can sort of try it out. But today, would I do it? I think I still have a preference to want to see it in store, have that offline experience. Online is all great, but still that offline at the store, experiencing the bag, trying it out, makes it better. The strategy, whichever strategy is not wrong. I mean, there's always a market for it, but
Yeah.
I think more and more, I still prefer, if I'm going to pay so much money, I still prefer to try in store, get that experience, try it out before I make that big purchase decision.
Yeah, I guess that is the downfall of not having it available everywhere, not having boutiques everywhere.
Okay.
Like people like me who would have been interested, I can't buy it, so bought two
And you go
LVs
out of
instead.
sight, out of mind in a way as well, out of sight, out of mind. Like you don't see it.
Yeah.
Like when I go in shopping and then I pass, I say, oh, Goyard. It's not so much of I must see the bag, but it's that, people like to go shopping. You just walk.
Yeah.
It's part of a hobby. Like even if you're just window shopping, it is that presence there. So it doesn't make the brand more or less attractive, but it's just, it depends, right? It depends on what you see.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a question. Okay. Like 8 minutes. Okay, let's do a quick one. Hi, Kat, from Kristan. Hi, Kat. You have the Daily Battle Tote 32. Is there any other tote bag that you are looking at that time, and what features in the bag won me over? So the only other bag that I was looking for at that time was Goyard. I was trying not to get a never full. No matter what, I thought, if I want to get a never full at that time, I wanted to get something special from LV. I was still on the hunt of a limited edition, never full. It's sort of still in my head, like, no, I'm just going to get a regular one, but I want something for work. So the only other bag version, I believe, was only Goyard. And what won me over was actually this. The adjustable strap. I thought that was a good feature to have, because I think Goyard, one of the reviews I saw, said that the straps are really long and flimsy. And for this, because I couldn't try it, I wasn't sure how it would fit on my shoulder. But because they had this as an adjustment, I thought, oh, I can make it suit how I want to use it on my body. So that definitely won me over. Was a plus feature for it. Eileen, any thoughts on Moynat? Okay, so I have linked I think I have linked it. If I haven't, I will. Our luxury live show on Moynat. I think we did some comparisons as well. But if you think that's not good enough, we could always do it again with history. Do you do history? I think we did, right,
I
Moynat?
think we did.
I can't
We
recall.
did.
So many.
We did. We definitely did. I mean, sometimes it just depends on how much is out there for us to talk about, but we definitely did. Those are the only Moina, Delvaux are the only so far apart from today, we're the only ones that we did dive into history and
Okay,
the Moina
Michael.
one was the older episode, yeah.
Yeah, one of the older ones that we did. Yeah. Michael, the long history. I think this is for Faure Le Page. The long history is all made up. Bags have nothing to do with guns. They just bought the brand, which is true. I mean, they never hide that. 2009 is when they bought the brands, and then they revive. They created a story. I mean, we always love a good story. It's not just you hear about it, then you appreciate the history of it, whether it's continuous. That is to be said, right? People rewrite history sometimes. So this is a little bit of that. It's not really per se as a bag brand. They have some elements into it, maybe out of the hunting goods, the leather hunting goods. But somebody who saw a brand that had such a following, saw the potential in it and said, wow, take it, make handbags.
Yeah. I guess it's almost like, if you're really an entrepreneur and you're really business driven in modern world, you see a franchise that you're like, oh, this could do really well in my area or in whatever area. Then you just buy the rights to open that franchise and you open a store and try to make a living out of it. I guess it's kind of in the line. Well, not quite the same, but they just took the opportunity to buy out the brand, I suppose, with whatever heritage they have, make it relevant for today. Because nobody. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but like, not as many people would carry firearms like out in the open, like kind of like you can see it and it's all house. Not like in the old days, I suppose, where you're like in the cowboy movies, how they are. Instead, people carry bags or briefcases, not even trunks, right? So it would only make sense for them to kind of move towards that way. And even
their
if you
market
think
will be
about
so small, right? And their market would be so small, right? If they were to
Yeah.
continue like trying to survive as a brand, as a generational brand, hunting goods, you could still chug along in that line, but you would be so small, so niche. There was this brand that I saw, a guy that I saw in America, that he still makes paper using like skin. But it's parchment. Like they use real skin, because that kind of parchment, people like historians still need that to restore historical papers. But this is a dying art. Like, you don't use paper
Mm.
anymore like that. Okay, people don't even use paper, but he maintains his business because in the centuries ago, that's how people write. They write on skin. So Faure Le Page could continue to make little stuff in hunting goods.
Yeah.
But I don't know what kind of global business that would be. So I think
Yeah.
a good
Well,
story.
actually, but it's the right move to do, but it is definitely a young brand, which is why it really surprised me when you said, right, oldest leather goods
Yeah,
in the history of. I'm like, what?
we
And
can't
how
chill.
come not that
We
many
can't
people
hide.
heard about it? You know?
But maybe that's why their website doesn't really have a lot
They
of
have to say it.
history. I had to go to Wikipedia. I found some articles from Forbes, and I was like putting us like, wait a minute, investigators.
I know. Even like with Goyard, they are also not really like a handbag or like a fashion company either, but they never claim to be. They claim to be a trunk maker, right? So they were true to their heritage in a sense, except that they pivoted as well. Like can't remember which Goyard, right? I think it was Robert or the François that kind of created more flimsier canvas so that they can create more products. And by that, they were able to make handbags and such. Oh, and also the pets accessories.
Mm.
And so, you know, it only makes sense when your brand, your company is so old. You have to pivot because we don't live in those times anymore. Like we don't use, well, first of all, we don't use trunks in the cars that it used to be back then already. Like the way the cars back then, your trunk had to be a specific size. And I think when we did Moynat, I think I remember the cars back then, it was a certain shape, and then some of the boxes that they had would fit on top, and it had to be exactly the size of the cars back
Strapped
then. So
down.
yeah, so obviously it makes sense back then, but it also makes sense for a brand to kind of modernize and to chug along with the times, right? You can't be making things that only works in the past. Nobody would use them. So
Yes.
yeah.
Good one. Now I just suddenly remembered another brand that we did. Like this is so much history, so much information. We did a brand that I think it was Delvaux. That Delvaux started off doing what did they do again? Was it trunks as well? But anyway, it was bought. I mean, they were a brand. It's again a good story, right? They how it's well made and all of that. But they are, if I'm not mistaken, it was bought by a person who had nothing to do with the brand. Like they had
Yes, that's correct.
no knowledge of handbags. But he was actually a botany, but into farming,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
Is that Delvaux?
Yeah, I think that was Devo.
Yeah, and he was trying to say, bags could change, and he was the one that came up with creating seasonal bags, because just like the
Mm-hmm.
season, you have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And so his bags, he said that the brand just had one design for the longest time, but wanted to create seasonal items.
Yeah.
I think it was Delvaux, right?
I'm pretty sure it was because it's the most recent one that we did before this one.
If we'll have to
It
watch
is,
back our
yeah.
old ones.
Yeah. I'm like trying to look it up now. I'm pretty sure it was. He was the first to create seasonal collections.
Seasonal collections. That's
Yeah.
right. See? Yes, yes, yes. All right, last one since we're at our 2-hour mark. Karen Lee, have you seen the new hobo from Goyard? It is not available for pre-order. It's beautiful.
Oh wait,
I
is that the one on their website?
yes,
Like
I
the
think so.
new
If you want
one?
to share the screen, I think
Yeah,
I saw
okay.
it. It looks a little bit like the LV version, the beautiful or something like that. Some I forgot the name.
Is it the
The
delightful?
delight, the beautiful, the delight, the LV delight. That's right, the one. Kind of have that
It's
feel. I
this
saw
one,
it
right?
actually.
Okay, let me.
I was thinking of picking it. I was thinking, But what stopped me was I don't know what stopped me. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I wasn't like into a.
Is it this one?
Yes,
The bohem, like which is like
bohem.
bohemian basically. Let's see. Can
Nice,
we click
nice.
on
I
it? Just
agree.
cover. Let's cover.
So that if you go to the Goya website, there are so many bags. I actually like this. I considered it. I was like, ooh, pick this one.
So it comes with a pouch, low pouch. It's the same way it's stitched to the. See, that's the thing. The only thing which is usually bad, which I hear about Goyard in the past in review like YouTube videos, is that this part would break. That's the only unfortunate thing, right? About the
Mm,
Goyard bags. Because otherwise, I really do like their canvas. Like the print is really cool.
yes.
And it's quite nice. I think, oh yeah, 330 grams. That's so light. That's less,
So light.
100 grams less of a pound. Actually, 100 and 24 grams less. So from a pound, which is so light.
I'm going to pull a comment from Joe. The Etoile, I think this is from Goyard. The Etoile is a good zip tote and the canvas is sturdy, but the straps are not sturdy. I had to replace them after 3 years of abuse.
Yeah.
Goyard straps, I recall another one is that it's really thin. The straps are really thin on the St. Louis Etoile bag.
It's the same. They do like the same. I don't know how come their leather can't. You know how LV also, the leather looks thin, but somehow it is a beast. It can withstand 200 pounds apparently. And I've never really heard of anyone's LV strap breaking that easily. Usually that's not the kind of wear and tear that you hear from the LV bag.
I wonder if it's because it's sewn, like, it's sort of like a teardrop that is sewn onto the canvas itself and stitched not only the whole part of that leaf, but also a little bit on the strap that connects up to the
They
bag.
have like a line and then goes around.
A little bit here. Yeah, not enough.
But I wonder if it's because the canvas is so delicate and so delicate for all the canvases, if we compare all of them, that they can't be stitching so much on it. Do you think? I don't know. I'm making this up at this point, but
I think you made a good point. It's like you can stitch like multiple times on cotton, and especially it's coated, compared to something that is like linen or silk, where you can satin, a couple of stitches, it might start to tear.
Yes, correct.
So maybe this is
I wonder, right? Why. I mean, they are all pros and cons, right? With Goyard, it's not owned by so many people. As far as I know, it's not so popular here. So in a sense, it's a more unique product. But you do have the delicateness, right?
Yeah, the way the Faure Le Page one is stitched is also very similar to LV. Like it's this whole like leaf size buckle, and it's the full thing is stitched all the way to the back, and it's and it holds its weight. Like I'm pulling, it's really tight.
Yeah,
and you're probably right, because the material just feels more sturdy. So this is, oh my gosh, I have filled this bag so much that even I'm like, I'm testing it.
Yeah. Okay, I have brought my. Oh yeah, we should wrap up. But I was gonna say I have brought my laptop several times in my Never Full. Not all the time, but several times, and looks fine still. So
it's fine, right? It's a beast of a bag.
It really is.
All right, let's wrap up. We hope you enjoyed today's very intense session. We learned something. For us, we definitely learned something as we do the little research, and it's nice to just sit down and talk about it. So if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to both our channels, because next week we're going to be on Amy's channel. And actually in July, very quickly, we have a special guest.
Yes. I am reconfirming that this person, whether she's available or not, but we will find out very soon. So you will see the calendar eventually. And
so members, don't forget to join us tomorrow on Amy's channel. So the regular time, it's 10:30 Canada and on my Vancouver, and then 1:30 on our side here in Singapore. All right, then we hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you tomorrow, members. Everyone, bye-bye.
Bye.